Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here. It's Sunday morning. It's Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And it's Sunday, so I'm doing a Sunday special report. And I was inspired because we're a year away from Toronto Tempo starting here in Toronto, and I wondered about being a mother and playing basketball because it's something that is a topic in the WNBA. They've got more money coming into the WNBA now, so they restructured the collective bargaining agreement between the players and the league. And some of the provisions that came about in the new restructuring had to do with being a mother. Like, it used to be that the WNBA only gave half pay if you had to leave due to maternity leave. Now, with the new agreement, they get full pay during maternity leave. And there's other great things that have been added to help players in the WNBA if they're mothers, like the big deal of like flying private instead of commercial. That, it was a real hassle for a WNBA player that had kids to fly on road games with their children on commercial planes. And now that the WNBA players are actually flying private, it's been a huge difference maker for WNBA mothers. There's other stuff too, like each of the teams kind of, this is a really interesting thing that where Teresa Resch and Kilmer Group need to be on top of, and I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're already thinking about all this, is childcare for players. Now, the Raptors, we have a really good system at Scotiabank Arena. We've seen with families like the Temple family, the Schroeder family, in the last couple of years that the Raptors have really good facilities inside the Scotiabank Arena for kids of the players to enjoy themselves and kind of like be okay. Like often some of the Raptor players will leave their kids up in the practice facility upstairs, and they'll hang out and there'll be staff around to watch them and stuff like that. They've been very helpful to the mothers of the children of the Raptor players too, as far as accommodating them, giving them seats, having a backstage area where they can get food and feed their kids and all this kind of stuff. Now, this is very important in the WNBA also. So one of the ways that the Toronto Tempo could get a leg up or an advantage in the WNBA is to have supreme childcare facilities for their players. Because I'm going to say this right now, some of the free agency in the WNBA in the last few years has been determined by some of these factors. There's been players that have had children, and they have not liked how the franchise they currently played for had their programs or facilities for them to help them with childcare. And they made free agency decisions to leave a team to go to another team that had better facilities. So this would be a really easy area for Teresa and Toronto Tempo to get a leg up in some ways, to have top-notch childcare kind of stuff for their players. It has been way more attractive to play for Toronto Tempo, knowing that peace of mind is there. Because I'm serious, there's been ugly situations between players and organizations in the WNBA over being a mom. It's that whole highly publicized incident between Becky Hammon and that player Hamby, who they said that she punitively got pregnant to hurt the team, is what Becky Hammon said. And they were very rude to her, Hamby, about being pregnant and mistreated her. And there was a lawsuit put up by the player Hamby against the Aces and Becky Hammon for the treatment of this. I mean, this is something that, is a real something that should be talked about around the WNBA, seeing as some of their players could get pregnant and be out from maternity leave at any time. Some ways, family planning is even more important if you're an athlete, because you need to plan not just if you want to have a kid or not, but the timing of it, and maybe really think about different things like how it is implicated with your body and athletics. And, things like that. There's a big myth is like, oh no, women shouldn't get pregnant while they're athletes and do stuff because it can change their bodies. It could also harm the child while they're pregnant if they're continuing to practice while they're pregnant. So there's a lot of different misconceptions and misnomers and worries in some ways. and it's good to just be educated. Now, some people would say, no, these athletes shouldn't be having babies. And you know what? A high percentage of the WNBA players do not have children. Seriously, it's way higher than the national average. In fact, I have a stat right here that says that out of the 156 active players in the WNBA right now, only 10% are mothers. And that's like 15 or 16 WNBA players out of all of them. Think about that. That's not a very high percentage. That really, really isn't. Now, some of the high profile women that have been mothers while they played in the WNBA have proven that it can be done, there's no issue with this. What you talking about this? Oh, I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to be out of shape. I'm not going to be able to play anymore. I'm not this or that. Well, the creme de la creme has proven that none of this should matter, and that WNBA teams and people should not be worried about their players having babies. Seriously, because the very first superstar in the WNBA did this exact thing in the prime of her career, and that would be Houston Comets' Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops was the original Michael Jordan of the league. In fact, she named her child that she had while she was playing Jordan. And she proved right off the bat from the history of the WNBA that you can balance being a mother and still be the scoring leader for the WNBA, the top player in the league. And she proved that right away. And, she had the baby, she lost the weight, and she came back and she was physically, athletically exactly the same as before she had the baby. So, a pioneer like Cheryl Swoops can show everybody that, yeah, it can be done. It can be done. Another name of a very high level WNBA player that did this also at the peak of her career is Candace Parker. Candace Parker, the sister of a former Raptor Anthony Parker, had a baby in the middle of her WNBA career, right in the middle of it. And she very successfully came back to MVP level after having the baby. So the proof is in the pudding that you can have the child during your career and still come back and be physically the same afterwards and stuff. And, there's timing to it, of course. Like in some ways, there's some women that have had babies in the recent years around the WNBA, and they had the baby at the beginning of the year, like let's say they had the baby in April or something like that. And the season starting right now in May, right? They would have the baby in April, and then they'd heal up and be ready to play still in that same WNBA season. So, it's life planning, life choices, family planning is very important to everybody. And everybody wants to have those options to do that if they want to. And if you're a young athlete, whether you're male or female, you need to think about what that implication is. Of course, if you're female, there's a lot more implications if you're going to try and have a baby while you're an athlete. I think that this is part of the reason why there is such a low percentage of moms in the WNBA, is because most of the women that play in the WNBA really prioritize their athletic career over starting a family. And, most of them, the WNBA careers on average are about 5 years. So, you could come in like when you're like 20 and play till you're 25 and still have a nice period of time to have a baby after your playing career. So that's part of the reason why it's rarer that there's not as many WNBA moms, because a lot of the younger players won't have the kids in their early 20s, play in their prime, and then when their career's over, because like I said, somebody like Diana Taurasi is the exception to the rule, a 20-year WNBA player. Most of them are going to play 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the league, and that's it. And so putting off having starting a family when it's like that, it's easier then. But what happens if you are a player that's badass and you stay in the WNBA for like 10, 12, 15 years? Well, that's when it starts things like starting to think about, well, I want to have kids, but I want to continue my career. Brittany Griner is a great example of this. Brittany and her partner had a baby last year. Now, Brittany didn't carry the baby, but still, you got to have childcare and be the person that's like involved in it, and you got to balance and juggle all that. So, this is something that, like, because Brittany's been in the league for so long, and she doesn't want to delay starting her family just because she's been successful in her WNBA career and played many, many years. So she go ahead and have the baby. And in fact, her partner is a former WNBA player, Penny Taylor. So it's an interesting thing. This happens too in the WNBA. Is there's a couple of partners that are player teammates that married each other and they have children together. And often the teammate that isn't playing anymore may be the one who carries the baby. Diana Taurasi, another example of this. Her partner played in the WNBA also. So it's an interesting subject and something that as the Toronto Tempo start, we need to keep in mind these kind of things. You know, family planning as a WNBA player is absolutely a hot topic. And the league has better than ever catering towards mothers in the WNBA at this point. The child care is better. Like the Phoenix Mercury in particular have an amazing facility that they just built for their team in the last couple of years that absolutely has a top-notch child care facility for players that are mothers. So this is something that Teresa Resch and Kilmer Group, Monica Rogers Wright, they're going to have to keep in mind because it could be a leg up and be more attractive for players to want to come here in free agency if we have a good program for childcare here. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about being a mother and playing in the WNBA, I'm just kind of glossing over it. Now, the cover photo is of Natalie Achonwa of Team Canada. Now, her story is interesting because she played in the WNBA for multiple teams, but was out a couple years ago. But she wanted to have a child after she finished her WNBA career, so she did. But she also wanted to continue to play for Team Canada. And she kind of set a goal for herself to, I'm going to prove to myself that I can have this baby and still be good enough to compete in the Olympics in Paris for Canada. And she was totally successful, obviously, because she did play for Canada last summer after the birth of her child. And that was something she wanted to prove to herself. That's a little bit of the insight in the mind of the female athlete that may have a child while they're in their career is, you know what, I'm going to have my baby and I'm going to prove to everyone and myself that I can still come back and be just as good afterwards. And she did it. She did it. She had the baby in between her WNBA career and playing for in the Paris Olympics for Team Canada's senior women's team in basketball. And she very successfully played in the Olympics last year. So she proved that to herself and everybody else that, yeah, I can still play even though I had a baby. So it's it's an interesting topic. It's something that getting into WNBA here in our market in Toronto next year that we have to keep in mind. And on this Mother's Day, I just thought this was an interesting Sunday report to do on. It's kind of an interesting thing. What's happening in the WNBA. You guys have any comments or questions on the subject for today's Sunday report? Hey, just come on in. I mean, I believe in freedom. I believe in the right to choose and the timing of things. And I feel like if an athlete wants to have a child while they're in the middle of their prime career, that is their choice. You don't tell them what to do. And hopefully they can work with the organizations to have the child in a way that the schedule and the timing can work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? A good example of a WNBA mother is the mother of Jaden Ivey, who they talk about this, like in some of the articles I read, where Jaden Ivey's mom would bring young Jaden to the WNBA practices all the time, and they'd have to figure out how to watch for him and take care of him and stuff like that. And, in some ways, some of these children become a real big part of the teams. Like the kids become part of the family of the teams. And in some ways, Jaden Ivey was a part of the WNBA family as a very, very small baby, just because his mother was on a WNBA team when he was an infant. And that's interesting to me. That's interesting stuff. So, yeah, anything on this topic you want to talk about, let's do it. And also, let's do all the rest of the segments we do on this channel, the Rapid Freak channel. Let's go. But yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you have any more questions about motherhood and the WNBA, in some ways, I am the least knowledgeable person on this. I'm not a father. I don't have kids, and I don't play in the WNBA, but I am a social scientist who studied fertility and family planning and mortality and migration and all that kind of stuff. So in some ways, I can look at it as from a social scientist perspective, but in real terms, I have no credibility on this subject. But I'm trying to look at it in a fair way and look at it from researching it all day yesterday. So yeah, Trevor J's first in. Let's see what the Commissioner Fund has for comment today. This words of wisdom: when you operate in your gift, you don't have to be at the head of the table. For wherever you sit or stand, the table in the room will shift. Remember who you are. That's interesting. Yeah, it's good to know yourself, know your strengths. And man, if you can find your ultimate gift and really roll with it and do it more and more, that's awesome. That is awesome. That is really, really good. I like your words of wisdom, Trevor J. Thank you, sir. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers in your life, Trevor J. How about that? Yeah. Trevor's saying happy Mother's Day to those who have kids on the channel. Have a great day. Yeah, I'm very lucky and blessed to have my mother here visiting right now. She just came here a couple days ago. So I'll get to spend the day with her. And we're also going to go to see my grandmother, who in a month from now, she will be 103. So this is great. I get to see my mom and my grandmother today on Mother's Day. And I'm very, very grateful for that. I feel blessed for that. That's for sure. Yeah. Trevor's saying the Knicks could not get the job done and the Celtics take game 3. Yeah, listen, I said it yesterday that the ref crew is horrible for the Knicks. Zach Zarba is one of the worst referees to the New York Knicks. And well, there you go. It's not even that the refs did anything though, because they gave more foul shots to the Knicks. They put them on the line way more than the Celtics. But in some ways, the Knicks just didn't have any juice. They didn't have any gas. And the Celtics, well, their backs against the wall. They got to do something. It's a do or die game. It's very much like some of the other series right now, like Cleveland and Indiana. Cleveland had to win game 3, just like Boston had to win game 3 in New York. And well, it is what it is. OG scored 2 points apparently in this game. So it's like everybody's saying, oh yeah, you guys, how you feel about that OG trade now? I don't know. How do you feel? Seriously, I love OG, but I know him pretty well. I know him real well. And honestly, I love OG. I want him to be successful, but seeing what he did yesterday, well, I'm telling you, I've seen stuff like this from him in the past, where it's just like sometimes he's just not gonna have a good game, and he's gonna be pretty tough. 1 for 6 for OG, a -25. So his defensive presence, OG-itis was not there. Only 2 points. That's tough, man. I don't hope that Knicks fans aren't turning on OG and trying to say OG this, OG that. That's not the right action. Let's just put it that way. Nice to see Precious got in the game, though, and got 6 points in 6 minutes. And DeLon Wright even made an appearance in this game. But yeah, looking at the box score, it's the Celtics BS. Peyton Pritchard, huge off the bench with 23 on 5 of 10 3-point shooting. And their 3-pointers were better in this game, 50% from 3. They shot less 3-pointers than the other 2 games, though, 20 of 40. So, yeah, it is what it is. I didn't expect the Celtics to get swept. And losing to New York yesterday, I totally guessed that would happen. Zach Zarba. That's what I have to say to that. Zach Zarba hates the Knicks. He's a horrible ref for the Knicks. And I can understand why Knicks fans don't like this man, because it's really biased. Now, let's do the ref report for today real quick. There's some interesting ref crews for the 2 games today. We'll start off with the game Cleveland at Indiana. John Goebel is the crew chief, and he favors Cleveland. Kevin Scott is the referee. He favors Indiana. And Curtis Blair is the umpire. He's going to favor Cleveland too. So 2 out of 3 are favoring Cleveland at Indiana. Kevin Scott is the one friend on the ref crew as far as percentage-wise for Indiana. The other game, Tony Brothers is going to be the crew chief. It's very close. He just slightly favors Denver, but both those teams are in his top 3. Highest win percentage of all the teams in the league. So it's just like Denver's number 2 and Oklahoma City's number 3, and they're very, very close. It's almost like a split. I don't even want to say that Denver has an advantage with Tony Brothers. Tyler Ford is the referee. Tyler Ford heavily favors the Nuggets. And Sean Wright is the umpire. He favors the Nuggets also. So there's a very heavy favoring for the Nuggets at home in this game, game 4, Oklahoma City at Denver. So that's what it's looking like. It's like it could very well be that the Nuggets are going to take a 3-1 advantage over Oklahoma City today, guys. because in some ways the home advantage and the ref crew showing that unless SGA has other plans, it's looking very favorable for the Nuggets today, guys. Just so you all know. Yeah, Zach Zarba and Justin Van Dyne will go to the replay center to watch from Secaucus today. There's some referees for the WNBA game. Golden State Valkyries at Phoenix Mercury. Jeff Wooten, Charles Watson, and Jason Albanza are the referees for that one. Yeah. Trevor's also saying Minnesota took game 3. Julius Randle, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists last night. Listen, this is something that's not getting talked enough about. Forget about talking about OG trade with Toronto. Let's talk about the trade that y'all did, Cat, for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Because honestly, this is interesting. I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves are doing better in the playoffs than they've ever done, and without Cat. Is that interesting? Seriously, they've had Cat on their team in the playoffs, and they failed miserably left and right because Cat is one of these guys who will disappear all of a sudden when you need him most. And meanwhile, the guy you got traded for, Julius Randle, is shining on Minnesota Timberwolves. In fact, Julius has been the most steady Timberwolf out of all those guys pretty much this playoff. And Anthony Edwards has been up and down. Rudy Gobert has been up and down, but not Julius. And I want to give some shine to Julius Randle. In some ways, him leaving New York, he didn't necessarily want to do that. But, man, he's making the best of being in Minnesota. And, wow, seriously, if Julius Randle gets more success in Minnesota than Cat got there and more than he got in New York when he played in New York, kudos to you, Julius. Kudos to you. In some ways, you're exercising old demons. First round, you beat the Lakers. Yeah, your original team. And that probably felt real good. Minnesota beating the Lakers, Julius Randle being a part of that. Ooh, I bet that felt real, real good. And now you're getting a chance to go head-to-head with Oklahoma City. No, wait, not Oklahoma City, with Golden State and those guys. So I'm saying, go on, Randle. Go on. You're a badass. And in some ways, you're a low-key superstar in this league that nobody gives shine to. And in some ways, I appreciate and respect you more now that you're not on the New York Knicks. And I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you for what you're doing here in the playoffs this year. You've been an underrated playoff performer, and you've been doing fantastic. Triple-double last night. Fantastic stuff. 36 points from Anthony Edwards also in the game. He woke up and had a pretty decent game in this one. Rudy Gobert, 9 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks. Yeah. On the other side, of course, Steph's not around. Jimmy Butler carries with 33, but nobody else is really helping. Oh, Kuminga got 30 off the bench too. But yeah, the rest of them kind of, it's going to be tough for Golden State without Steph Curry around for them to keep pace with the Timberwolves. So hopefully Minnesota will move on. And this says a lot about Julius, man. I'm saying this says a lot about Julius Randle right here. Trevor's saying yesterday, my people in Atlanta, couldn't get tickets to see Indiana Fever and Dream. It was sold out. They said it's just preseason, man. This is interesting. This is kind of funny because I talked about this with my dad yesterday. They live in Atlanta. And I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, do you ever hear about the Atlanta Dream? Like, do you ever see advertising for them or like any kind of put on blast for a WNBA team in Atlanta? And he said, sometimes I see it on Hawks broadcasts. Like I'll be watching an Atlanta Hawks game and they'll say something about the Atlanta Dream on there and stuff like that. But this is interesting. I was wondering how well the Atlanta Dream does. And you're saying that their preseason game yesterday, it was sold out and nobody could get in there. Well, it may have more to do with Clark and Indiana than the Atlanta Dream, but that's a good sign. It's preseason only, and people can't even get in there to see this game because demand is so high for the preseason. That is awesome, man. That is so awesome. So I guess the Atlanta Dream are doing all right if they're selling out their preseason. Hey, there you go. There you go. G's here. He's saying, let's go Pacers. And since we've got G and Trevor here, I promised I would do another analyzing of WNBA team from our league. So let me go there. And we've got 4 teams we have not looked at yet. And I'm going to figure out which one we should do today. And let's see. I told Kareem I would not do his today because he is at Denny's currently right now. So what we're going to do Reese's Nieces today, guys. This is JP, Country Kong. We have not seen Country Kong in the chat very often recently. He did come in and say hi a couple weeks ago just for a sec. But let's go ahead and I'll read off the Country Kongs Reese's Nieces for you guys and tell me what you think. Commissioner J and trivia champion G and J. The G and J analysis is what I need right here. The G and J. All right, so JP's got Marina Mabry of Connecticut's Sun at guard. Darica Hamby, who I was just talking about. She's the one who had the beef with Becky Hammon and the Aces about pregnancy. She's on the Sparks as a forward. Easy McBeggar is on this team as the center for the Seattle Storm. Jonquel Jones of the Liberty is on this team. Anisha Morrow of the Connecticut Sun. Azura Stevens, Maisha Hines Allen, Laisha Clarendon. She's a free agent. She's actually not on a team right now. Ari McDonald, Michaela Onware, and Sonia Rivers are the team players on JP's team. If you guys could let me know what's going on with this. Yeah. For me, definitely trade or waive Brianna Turner. I did. I waived her. She's not on my team at this point right now. I did make that move already. I went ahead and got who did I get in that in her place? I got I went and got Letitia Emma here instead of her. I got Letitia because I wanted another Canadian, and I know that she's been showing pretty good stuff in preseason for the expansion Valkyries. Also, expansion teams are good to get players from because their roles usually increase and get better. Like I said, that's a good general fantasy sports tip. Like, it'll be smart to get tempo players next year because they're going to be coming from other teams and they'll get expanded roles. Like Monique Billings and Thornton from Liberty last year, when they go to the Valkyries, they're going to get better stats in some ways because they're going to be more dependent on as main players. And maybe on the old teams that they were on, they're kind of role players and secondary players, but they're going to be leaned on a lot more. Geez, Sam, mostly good. A few that I'm not even that familiar with. Yeah, I would say, you know what? I'm pretty sure JP did not. He auto drafted, and I don't even know if he's even checked on his team yet. So hopefully he does. He's done pretty good in this league before. I may have to reach out to him and tell him, hey, we got the fantasy league going again. Make sure he knows that he needs to set his team up. So, yeah, Letitia's amazing choice, Lex. Good one. Yeah, I figured I like the Canadian content. I like that she's, an Ontario person. And like I said, she has an opportunity on Golden State to expand and play and get a lot of stats, considering that's a young team, an expansion team that nothing's really set in stone, and anybody could get a foot in there if they do really well and do some stuff. Yeah. Trevor's saying that JP's team is not a very strong team. That is the official decree from Commissioner Fun, Trevor J, is that Reese's Nieces are not all that this year. Of course, Reese is not on Reese's Nieces this year. He missed out on getting Angel Reese, so he doesn't actually. His team is misnomer at this point, not a team, not the right team name at this point. So yeah, there's our check-in on a WNBA fantasy league and JP's Reese's Nieces. Yeah, not a very strong team is what Trevor's saying. That's the official declaration. G saying there's some very strong players like JJ and Hamby, but the others are mid to weak. Yeah, I'm really worried my team's very mid to weak too. We'll see. I'm going to try and be a more active manager this year as far as, I don't know, trying to really pay attention to get the best players in that are available in other ways. But I know other people in this league are on top of it, like MK, the champ. Man, Meredith is really, really always watching and paying attention and just on top of things. That's why he's a two-time champ. And who knows, he might be a three-peat this year. We'll have to see how Meredith's team goes. All right, y'all, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods. And speaking of Canadian goods, we're going to talk about another area of things that isn't necessarily food. We do other things sometimes, like I've talked about seeds. I was talking about how you can buy seeds from the Ontario Seed Company. I've talked about different kind of services. Well, today we're going to go ahead and do hardware stores. And, there's a lot of different hardware stores out there. You got Home Depot, which is absolutely the worst place you can shop for hardware. Seriously, I'm going to say this right now. Do not go to Home Depot. Home Depot is a big, huge American corporation. You go to Home Depot, you are very much supporting American corporate company. And in fact, Home Depot is reprehensible with some of the money that they give money to in the United States, anti-LGBTQ groups. Like, they are not for people and equality. So screw Home Depot. Do not shop at Home Depot, guys. Boycott Home Depot as much as possible. On the sliding scale of things, well, you do want to go to a Canadian brand. You know, Rona is Canadian, but it's not really, it's kind of corporate. You know, there's the one that I'm going to put on blast today is Home Hardware. Because, you know, Home Hardware is a Canadian company. It was started here in Ontario in 1964 in St. Jacobs. And basically what Home Hardware is a network of hardware stores that are owned locally, usually by families. Like, there's a couple of Home Hardwares in my area, and I go in and there's a family that owns it and runs it. And they just have the brand Home Hardware over their door. And it's really great because you're buying from a family owned business, and it's Canadian too. So I would say Home Hardware is a great place for y'all to shop if you're going to need to go to a hardware store. But the thing is, even though if you go to the Home Hardware, some of the items that they'll have in stock are still US made. So you still want to suss out what you're looking at. And if you can buy Canadian made products, that's always the best. So, you know, I'd say start at Home Hardware because at least your money is going towards a locally owned small business under a big umbrella franchise. So, yeah, I'm just saying, definitely do not go to Home Depot. Maybe if you have to, go to Canadian Tire or Rona, because both of them are Canadian, but they're corporate. They're more big time. But I would say go to Home Hardware. And maybe even in your neighborhood, you might have a local hardware store that actually is like independent and not even Home Hardware. And it's an independent owned by a local family, local hardware store. That's good too. So, but Home Hardware is a pretty good brand for you to go to get your hardware needs. And like I said, if you want to get really in the nitty gritty, look at the labels and buy non-American stuff also. So yeah, Home Hardware is what I'm putting on blast today, guys, for buy straight goods on Canadian goods. It's a great store. I highly recommend going to Home Hardware's over most hardware stores. This is the time of year where you might be starting some DIY projects, some things you need to do around the house and the yard. And well, if you're going to be heading towards the hardware store, Home Hardware, boom goes the dynamite. That's where I say you go to. That's right. Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah. Trevor's saying next season I will play the WNBA fantasy and kick some butt. I don't know why you didn't join this year. I've been telling y'all, get in here, join the league. And Trevor, you should have joined. Seriously, man. If I'd known you wanted to play, I would have kicked another team out because there's a couple of teams in the league that are kind of deadbeat teams. And they don't really keep up with them, but they're here and they're people that come to the channel still. But I would have put you in there like that, Trevor, if I'd known that you were kind of considering it. I just thought you weren't a fantasy sports player. You should have played, man. What are you doing, man? You should have played. We should have got you in there, man. I wanted to get you in there, man. All right, let's do the Instagram stories. Let's see what's going on in the Instagram world right now. First, we got Leo Routens with his words of wisdom this morning. Good morning. Have a blessed Sunday and happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms. There you go. That's from Leo. Gratitude doesn't change what we see, but how we see it. I like that. And also, I want to say, guys, happy birthday to Randolph Phillips, guys. Today is Randolph's birthday on Mother's Day. Our great words of wisdom guy, Randolph. If he shows up today, we'll have to wish him a big happy birthday, guys, because it is Randolph's birthday, guys. Randolph Phillips is on the birthday list for today. We see Why Not Lloyd has got his mother on blast on his Instagram stories. And he's saying, words can't describe how much I love you. Thanks for all you do and more. There you go. He takes after his mother. Honestly, he has very similar features. Let's see what else we got. Coach Andrew Jones is putting on blast some moms here. It looks like he's got looking beautiful, proud mama. Congratulations to my cousin for getting that MBA. Okay, so that's his cousin and maybe his aunt that's in that picture. Shamshay is saying happy birthday to Jamison Battle from yesterday. Nice to see Shamshay showing the love for him. And he got his haircut yesterday. We see Shamshay in the barber's chair looking at his phone, probably checking his Instagram stories. But yeah, Shamshay got the fresh cut yesterday. And looks like Wubbs was there too, getting his lines fixed up too at the same place. So Raptor rookies getting haircuts yesterday. Wubs chopped it all off, is what the caption says. It looks pretty good, man. It looks tight. Jacoby, I want to see what you, man, if you're a different player because you cut your hair. It's a very interesting thing to me. Grady Dick is wishing a happy birthday to the other sharpshooter, Jameson Battle, on his Instagram. So happy birthday, Jameson, from Grady. Mo Pete went crazy with posting Instagram stories after he reposted Monique's story. He's got a part where he makes the shot against Washington where he catches the ball and he throws the ball half court and makes the shot. That's such an awesome play by Morris. And he says in the caption saying, legendary, I remember this too, the real Mo Pete. He remembers it because he did it. He did it. There's Morris with the OVO stuff he's putting on blast right now. There's something coming out, man. He said, check out my interview with OVO. And he's got some new stuff coming out. My dog and I got something special coming, is what he's saying. So maybe there's something, Mo Pete collaborating with OVO some more on some sort of new thing. Uh-oh, it looks like Chris got on Twitch, y'all, 24 minutes ago, guys. So Chris Boucher is on Twitch, it looks like. Chris putting up shots. He's doing the DX chop at practice. He's doing the Shawn Michaels Triple H chop. There he is putting up shots, his treasure. Yeah, here we go. He's with his Oregon guys, a picture of the Oregon crew with Dylan and everybody. That's kind of cool to see, like him with his Oregon teammates. And Dylan Brooks looks so young and weird in that picture. He looks like he's on Degrassi in that picture because he looks so young. He looks like he would be a Degrassi student. It's so funny, man. But yeah, I guess Chris is on Twitch right now. He just went on 24 minutes ago. Call of Duty streams are back. First stream at 11:45 a.m. featuring it's Shanix. You know what? I might need to help Chris out because I am a moderator for him on Twitch. So yeah, I guess he's not on yet, but he's saying he's going to be on at 11:45 this morning. So that's about an hour and 45 minutes from now. You go, Chris Boucher, and your Call of Duty on Twitch. Y'all can watch him today. I should be there though. I got to moderate him. I may not be able to do that. Yeah, he's saying see y'all there. He's hyped. He's hyped. He wants to get on there and play some COD and get everybody watching. We love you guys. We love all you guys, is what he's saying. He must be warming up right now. I see him. He's actually posted some clips just in the last 10 minutes of him warming up and playing right now. Jamal Shed putting on blast his Raptor rookie birthday yesterday. Jamal celebrating Jameson Battle with that dog look that he made on the side of the court. That one clip where he's like making his, he's doing all that crazy like dog face kind of stuff. It's really weird, man. And then he's got a picture. This is funny. Jamal likes putting guys on blast on their birthday with embarrassing moments. Like he put the embarrassing picture of Garrett Temple on the plane asleep in his Instagram for his birthday a couple days ago. Well, he's put Jameson Battle on blast on his Instagram for being a horrible pool player on here. He's showing him taking pool shots at a bar, and he's totally missing the shots. And it says in the caption, worst pool player on the team after Jonathan Mobo, shaking my head. So apparently two of the rookies were really bad pool players, and their names are Jameson and Jonathan. I don't know why you were calling them out like that, Jamal Shed. Why you put them on blast like that in the wrong way like that? That's not nice. But yeah, he's got highlights. Another clip for celebrating Jameson's birthday. He's saying, my shooter, happy birthday, brother. Yeah, he's showing him, throwing him a pass, and him nailing a three in the corner. Jameson Battle number 77. There you go. Savannah Hamilton was at a Maybelline event yesterday. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. That's right. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, she was with the Maybelline executives, and they're talking. And I guess there's some young children. They're also getting schooling or some talking to by Erica Flores, just saying there's beauty and joy in embracing. Hang on. There's beauty and joy in embracing what is means to be a woman in sport. There you go. I like that. I like that. So some really good outreach to the youth about being an athlete and a female. Let's see. Savannah was at the Toronto University track over there near Bloor in St. George, and they were having the Toronto Rush. I guess that's the name of the team. It's a track team, and she's saying she's supporting everybody in Toronto, all sports team. And she's supporting the Rush. So, yeah. And I think it was an Ultimate Frisbee. Ultimate Frisbee game is what it was. Toronto Rush is Ultimate Frisbee. They're not track. Okay, that's interesting. So, Savannah Hamilton is supporting Ultimate Frisbee at the stadium there over there near Bloor and St. George. You know the one I'm talking about. Jonathan Mobo saying happy birthday to Jamison Battle. Eugene Omaroy got his hair cut, and it looks like he may be still over in Nigeria. I'm not sure. Let's see. Toronto Tempo president Teresa Resch is with Tony Negroni at Lenny's Luncheonette and saying that mouthwatering pastrami and BEG. I'm not sure what that is. So she's promoting this lunch spot, Lenny's Luncheonette. So you guys go check out Lenny's Luncheonette on the request of Teresa Resch, saying that's good. And she's also putting on blast that the Flex show, the play that's coming up, is going to have a panel afterwards, including the GM of the Toronto Tempo, Monica Wright Rogers. And also Savannah Hamilton will be there on May the 14th after the show is in a panel. That'll be good. Be interesting. So if that's a special Flex performance that people might want to go to. And there she is on the another podcast, and she's talking about on this podcast how the Toronto Tempo will be Canada's team in the WNBA, much like how the Raptors are Canada's team in the NBA and the Blue Jays are Canada's team in the MLB. But she made a distinction that the Blue Jays were in the league with the Expos, and there were two Canadian teams for a while, and the Raptors were in the league with the Grizzlies in Vancouver. And that it was that we became America's team here in Toronto after those teams left. And it's a different case with Toronto Tempo coming in singularly only as the only Canadian WNBA team. So it's a different thing in some ways, that distinction, than the Blue Jays and the Raptors, and being Canada's team and their leagues, because they're going to be Canada's team right from the start, because there's no second Canadian team in the WNBA team league. So hopefully Toronto Tempo can capture the whole entire country as a fan base, is kind of what it looks like. Scotty Barnes putting Jamison Battle on blast for his birthday. Happy birthday, Jamison Battle, from your boy, Scotty. That's right. Emmanuel Quickly is showing Jamal Shedd's little 23 movie on his Instagram, and also saying happy birthday to Jamison Battle also. There's your Instagram stories for today. Lots of birthday wishes for Jamison. And yeah, cool stuff going on around places. Savannah Hamilton's out there supporting all sports is what's going on right now. That's right. Stargate saying happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. There you go, Stargate. And good morning to you, sir. Trevor saying John Cena cheated to win at Backlash. He hit Randy Orton in the nuts. Oh, WWE shenanigans. Silly shit. That's right. That's funny. Stargate saying, laugh out loud. Trevor, you really got to chill with the voice to text stuff. Who in the hell is Randy Autumn? It is what it is, man. The man's got an accent, and he's talking in his comments, and they're going to come out the way that they are. Yeah. I've gotten used to it. In some ways, it used to stumble me with my autism, because I'd read it and I'd be like, I read it what it says, but I got to understand that's Trevor's voice. And in some ways there is comic gold in it, because it could be some funny stuff the way it's written, like Randy Autumn. But, in some ways I'm just going to try and read it straight and just say what he's trying to say here. Trevor's saying, Lex, I want you to check out my Twitch account. I want your approval on my page cover. Jones Trev. All right, wait, you're on Twitch? All right, let me go to Twitch real quick and see what's up with my guy Trevor's Twitch account. This is interesting. I want to see this. It's showing Slim Duck's on right now. Let me see. We could go live react to Slim Duck, watch him right now. He's not actually on yet. He's not actually on yet, it looks like. But yeah, let's go look at Trevor's Twitch. What is this? Jones Trev. Okay, Jones Trev. All right, let me see if I can find you, man. Jones Trev. All right, where are you? Wait? I don't see your name here. Jones Trev. This is on Twitch, right? Jones Trev. I spelled it exactly like that. Trevor, that's exactly how you do it? Because it's not showing you, man, in the search. It's got man, there's some other weird people on here that got almost the same name as you. Yeah, I don't see you, man. I don't see you on here, Trevor. Is it on Twitch, you're saying, or is it YouTube, or where is it, man? Trevor Jones. put in your regular name, there's tons of Trevor Jones. No, I can't find it, Trevor. I can't find your account for some reason. I'm putting it in the search engine on there, and it won't show it. It won't show it. Stargate's laughing. All right, let's do Reddit reactions real quick. Let's see what's going on Reddit real quick. Okay, we're really 2 days away from the draft lottery tomorrow, guys. The draft lottery is tomorrow, and I want to talk to you guys about my stream tomorrow, because I'm not going to do one in the morning tomorrow, guys. We're going to skip tomorrow morning's 9:30 Monday moment, and we're going to have the Monday moment be a live reaction after we announce the draft lottery. I'm going to do my stream in the evening tomorrow night, and it'll be a short stream to react to what the results of the draft lottery are. So you can expect me probably on around 8 or 9 tomorrow night, just so y'all know. So no morning stream tomorrow. We're going to do a reaction stream after the draft lottery results are determined. So no morning in the morning on Monday morning. Okay, guys? We're going to do a late stream Monday night after the draft lottery results are. So I'm going to do a reaction to that's our Monday moment for tomorrow. Is the Monday moment is the draft lottery and reacting to it after it happens. So just a programming note about tomorrow. I will not be showing up first thing in the morning. We're going to do the stream late in the evening tomorrow night after the draft lottery results are determined. So there you go. There you go. All right, let's see. Raptors Reddit is, yeah, they're really 2 days away. Potentially franchise-altering draft lottery in 2 days. Raptors fans enjoying the playoffs. Okay. Who are you cheering for in the playoffs? Someone's asking on Raptors Reddit. Since we're not in the playoffs this year, it's been an opportunity to root for former Raptors and Canadian players. I like the Knicks. They won my heart last year watching them battle Embiid and the Sixers. And OG was one of my favorite Raptors from the former squad. It's also watching SGA, Murray, Pascal, Kawhi, and Norm last round. Who are you still rooting for as a Canadian basketball fan, and why? Let's see what the people are answering this. I'm currently cheering for the Knicks, fuck Boston, the Pacers, and the Wolves of the Warriors because of Ant. And Nuggets and Thunder, I want both to win. Happy either way because of the Canadians on both sides. Okay, that's interesting there. And most people are agreeing with that. Everybody's saying this is exactly who I'm cheering for, the Knicks and the Pacers. And I'm for the Canadian guys otherwise. Basically right that. Some guy here said, fuck the Warriors. I absolutely hate that team. There you go. There you go. Oh, man. Yeah, who are you rooting for? And this guy said Masai at the draft lottery on Monday. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. That's kind of funny. There's an article out by Raptors Republic that came out this weekend about, it's by Cody Wiles. It's about the Raptor rookie that no one talked about this season, Ulrich Shamshe. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool article. I mean, we talked about him here, but maybe other people around Raptors world did not talk about Shamshe a whole lot, I guess. But I did. I know I did. I know I did. There's your Raptors Reddit reactions there. Right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah. Personally, you think it's hilarious? Yeah. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. All right, let me see. What else do we got? Let's do the classic card. Do we have people here to do the classic card? Let's do it. Shake it like it means anything. It's like I'm mixing drinks. Hey, I'm Tom Cruise on Cocktail. Woo! Throw it up in the air, catch it. Let me see. I want to get a card out here. Okay, we'll do this one. This one's tough. This one's classic. It's a classic card, guys. All right, let's see who knows this classic card player today. That is the player right there, number 24. Who knows this player? He's a guard, Milwaukee Bucks. Do you know who that player is? And the big player who's guarding him, if you know that player, that's another one too. But full name answer, please, on the classic card. If you can tell what that player is, it is wearing the Milwaukee Bucks guard. Who is that? Give me some guesses, and I might give you a clue on the name if you can't figure it out. So, yeah, that's Sam Bowie guarding him, by the way. Kentucky center who was drafted before Michael Jordan and was injury prone and kind of a big mistake by the Portland Trailblazers who drafted him originally. And they could have drafted Michael, but they drafted Sam Bowie. Sam Bowie was hurt a lot, and they traded him to New Jersey. And he went to New Jersey, and he played somewhat there, but some people think he's a bust. Yeah, that's not Sam Bowie's card, and it's not Danny Shea's card, who's in the back either. That is Danny Shea's in the back, Slug DZ, but that's not the card. Danny Shea's, he knows it's Danny Shea's in the back. Slug DZ, who's the main player? The guard for Milwaukee in front, right there. It is Danny Shea's in the back. That's totally right, though. That's funny. I should give you some points for that. I kind of said Danny Shea's right when you wrote it, though. But yeah, you wrote it at the same time, so obviously you knew who it was. Yeah, but that point guard right there, who's got the ball in his hand. Who is that, man? Yeah, that's your name on there, Jones Trev. Well, do you have an actual channel set up, or is that just your account? Because if it's just your account, I don't know. I'll try and look at it again in a second, Trevor. But I couldn't find your account. So, all right, I need this classic card to be gotten. And their first name is the same first name as a main character in Kevin Smith movies. Yeah. His first name is the same first name as a main character in Kevin Smith famous movies. Yeah, if you know Kevin Smith, the director, and what he likes to make, and what movies he did, one of his main characters, it's actually his real name. The guy's real name is what he uses as the character. And actually, I guess Kevin Smith would be his partner. So that gives it away right there. If you know that, what his first name is. If you know who Kevin Smith is in his own movies and who his partner is in those movies, we got the first name of this person right there. If you know that, let's see. And the last name, what would be a good way of going about the last name? It's a little bit tougher to get the last name on there with a clue. Come on, y'all are leaving me hanging here. Slug DZ, you know who this is, don't you? You know Danny Shea's. You should know the other player. Danny Shea's is harder. Danny Shea's is harder, and he's got the Danny Shea's, but he doesn't know who the point guard is. I'm putting it up real close now. Look at that. Look at that. Who is that? Look at that. We'll put him right up in y'all's face. Who is that? Point guard for the Bucks around the same time as Danny Shea's on the team and Sam Bowie is against them on New Jersey. Y'all gonna make my arm tired from holding the damn card up too long. First name is a main character in Kevin Smith's movies. In fact, the partner of Kevin Smith in those movies, that character, if you know that character's name. Oh, you guys know who Kevin Smith is? You guys know who Kevin Smith is? Do you know those movies? Clerks. What's another one of his movies? Mallrats. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, or I'm talking about Alien Language. Nobody gonna get this. We're gonna have one of these days because there's nobody here and nobody's understanding the classic card that we're gonna just say nobody got it. Or we're gonna do a weird thing where I'm gonna give him the points for Danny Shea's. There you go. Finally. Jay and Silent Bob. Of course, Jason Mewes is the actor who played Jay, and Silent Bob is Kevin Smith, who wears the hat backwards and makes funny faces around him and out in front of the convenience store. And the player is Jay Humphries. Jay Humphries was an underrated point guard who played in the league. He was a starter, and he did pretty good, man. He was actually a pretty good player for a while there, but nobody remembers him. You see, he averaged double-doubles for most of his career. Milwaukee and Phoenix. From LA, went to Colorado. First pick, 13th pick in the draft. John J. Humphries. All right, that took so long. And because he got Danny Shea's too, I'm going to give him 150. 150 for that one. Yeah, that took a while right there. I was like, oh my gosh, man. All right, Jay Humphries. And it's Slugged Easy. And we'll give him 150 points for that one. Because he got the Danny Shea's on the side. Boom goes the dynamite. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying. Let me wrap up things, I guess, if we're at this point where we're going to wrap things up. I mean, in some ways, you know, sometimes these streams are short. It's Mother's Day and people are busy and they're probably doing other things. I totally get it. All right, yeah, let's look for Trevor one more time, which doesn't make any sense. Jones Trev. All right, let me put it in. Yeah, you're not coming up as a channel or anything, man. I don't see you, bro. I don't see you. You're not on here. I can't look at your page if I can't see it, man. So unfortunately, that's just where we're at, bro. Sorry, man. Sorry, my guy. Sorry, my guy, Dennis. Let me see. Where's Chris? I want to see if Chris is actually online right now. Lloyd. Where's Chris Boucher? Slim Duck. Slim Duck. Slim Duck 25. Yeah, there he is. Resubscribe. I'm following him. He's offline. He should be back. He'll be on today in just a little while. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to maybe possibly hang out with Chris for a little bit on the stream, since Chris Boucher is going to be live on Twitch in about an hour from now. Just a heads up to the Raptor Freaks. Yeah, Chris Boucher will be on. All right, let me wrap it up, guys. My stream today was about being a mother and playing basketball. And a lot of young women decide to put off motherhood while they're playing professionally, to just not have a distraction, to be able to focus solely on competing and playing basketball, whether it's in the WNBA or internationally or for FIBA teams for their country. And, it's a balance. In some ways, it's each individual's choice. If somebody wants to try and have a child early in their 20s while they are also a WNBA player, I believe that they should have that right, obviously. And that in some ways, WNBA franchises can get an advantage in the league by having really good childcare programs and facilities for their players. As I said, there were some players in the last couple of years that left teams because they did not have this kind of stuff for other teams that did. So it could be a really important advantage for the Toronto Tempo to make sure that they have very good facilities and things for childcare for their players, just in case. I was shocked. I thought that there were way more mothers in the league, but there really aren't. There's only like 15 or 16 women that play in the WNBA right now that are mothers, because a lot of them are young and they decide to forego having children until after their playing days are over. So that's part of it right there. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. We looked at Natalie Achonwa of Team Canada and her triumphant return to play for Team Canada in the Olympics last year after giving birth to her son Maverick before that. And, there's the story of Jaden Ivey being a WNBA child and growing up to play in the NBA. Somebody asked this. This was an interesting topic. Will there ever be a mother-daughter combo like LeBron and Bronny in the WNBA? And, that is tough, because in some ways that means that the WNBA player would have to have the baby very young, very, very young. And they'd have to play in the league for almost 20 years too. That's the only way that happens. Maybe if Diana Taurasi had a baby in her teens and then she was still playing at 42, she might have played with her daughter in the WNBA at the same time. And I'll bet you this will happen at some point, but it will be a very, very special case, much like LeBron and Bronny. So it's going to be a player that has really crazy longevity who just happened to have a child when they were very young, kind of like LeBron in his instance. So yeah, I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but I know it will at some point in the history of the WNBA. There will be a mother-daughter combo like LeBron and Bronny. I'll bet you there will be. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Once again, let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Team Canada basketball. Let's go CBL. How about that? Let's go Raptors 905. Yeah, we got a couple games tonight. Ref report is John Goble. John Goble favors the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kevin Scott favors the Pacers. Curtis Blair favors the Cavs. So yeah, and then the other series, Tony Brothers. It's a split. Tyler Ford favors Denver, and Sean Wright favors Denver. So there's a lot of favor there for the Nuggets tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder, just so y'all know. All right, shop at Home Hardware. If you're going to go for anywhere for your hardware needs, go on down to Home Hardware and get those nails and whatever else you need. And happy birthday to Randolph Phillips. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and moms out there. I appreciate everybody watching me today. Trevor, you don't think that'll ever happen, where there'll be a mother and daughter combo in the WNBA? I mean, it really is that they have to be in the league for like 20 years almost for that to happen. And they have to have the child really young, right? Very, very young. Some people are saying they don't think that will ever happen, but for some reason I say never say never. and that something will happen at some point where this happens. I'll bet you. It may not be anytime soon. It may not be within the next 10, 20 years, but I could see it happening at some point. Alan Tam said, bam, son. All right, we're at an hour. Let's go. Let's go, Canada, our home and native land.